right after the accident.
That's the bike, and then the car that he collided with. That night, I remember just being on the elevator, going up to the floor, and just like so terrified to like walk around the corner. I had no idea what I was going to see. I had no idea what was going on. And it was even scarier because I had to go alone.
October 24, 2020, I wake up to go to work. I get on my bike, I take it out front, and I'm heading out to go and work. And next thing I know, I wake up in a hospital about 2 weeks later with some injuries.
He had broken his femur, traumatic brain injury, a collapsed lung, broken ribs, broken wrist, broken clavicle, and then there was a hemorrhage in the eye. The nerve damage wasn't something that we realized until a while later, I think, right?
It was after 6 month mark. I should have been progressing a lot more. My therapist, she was worried about it and researched and found Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, Dr. Tuffaha.
There was another arm doctor that I went to 6 months after the accident, and he said if nothing happened in 6 months, this is basically how you're going to be.
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing, doctor?
Long time no see.
You know, a lot of patients may be told that you're too late, you've already missed your opportunity, and there's no options that can be offered to you. But I think it's important for patients to know that there are, and they're more complicated, and they're not offered by every medical center, but they should know that they shouldn't give up hope.
So then these were the videos like from before the first appointment that Dr. Tuffaha requested.
That was how much I could move.
Wow.
You know, Austin had a challenging brachial plexus injury with a loss of shoulder function, loss of elbow flexion, and what made his case challenging was that he was coming to see me a little bit later than I would have liked.
See, when I met him was almost 10 months in.
Because of the long period of time that elapsed, the muscles had undergone advanced atrophy, meaning that I couldn't restore nerve supply to those muscles, and instead I had to replace them with functioning muscles. And so for the first stage, I took one of the muscles out of his thigh that he doesn't need, the gracilis muscle, transplanted that into his arm.
December 10th of 2021, he had the surgery. It was more than 12 hours. It was a very long day. They had used an orthopedic pillow that wrapped around his body to immobilize the arm because it had to be kept at a certain angle, bent a certain way.
I had to sleep like that, I had to shower like that, everything. I said 25 hours a day, I had to be like that. So finally, my 3-month checkup, I go back to Dr. Tuffaha. He pulled it down, I pulled it back up. The first time we were in shock and didn't say anything to each other. He pulled my arm down again, I pulled it back up, and that's when we just started yelling in excitement all the way around.
And then he went and he got his PA and brought her in and was like, look at this.
It was a game changer, totally. It changed everything. I couldn't believe it, I really couldn't. I still can't.
Okay, good. Can you hold it right there? That's great. Let's see how high we can get this. Right there. Wow. And you can really...
When you have an injury as severe as Austin, there are the big, obvious deficits that you're going to tackle first. But then after you've cleared those hurdles, there are often seemingly more subtle but also important deficits that you can then turn your attention to. So in Austin's case, my treatment plan involved 3 separate surgeries that were performed in stages. And the 2 main functions that we were looking at were external rotation and then also being able to bring his hand up and position his hand in space. So obviously that's very important as well. Fortunately, we've already checked off the most important deficit, and now we have the luxury of turning our attention towards fine-tuning and rebalancing and trying to get him as close to normal as possible.
Dr. Tuffaha just keeps asking what I would like to improve. I just went and had a visit with him, and I said I want a little bit more external rotation. Can't really straighten my pinky out because of where my hand broke.
You see that tendon, how it's falling off this way?
Yeah.
We'd have to kind of move that tendon.
We're one of the few centers in the country that are leading the efforts at performing advanced functional reconstruction for patients with peripheral nerve injuries. We have leading experts in all of the disciplines that are relevant: plastic surgery, hand surgery, neurosurgery, neurology, state-of-the-art technologies, we stay on the leading edge in terms of all the treatment advances. And we're developing tomorrow's solutions for the patients, and for those that are interested in enrolling in clinical trials, they are available, and more will be available soon.
I mean, who would think that these kind of recoveries could happen? I never would have thought that you could take a muscle and move it somewhere else and it be functionable. To me, that's mind-blowing in itself, but then the fact that it actually worked, I'm not gonna lie, it's like I pulled that magic lottery ticket out somehow, thanks to Dr. Tuffaha. That's what I took it as.